Welcome to the Sleevy G Show. I'm your host with your most. My name is Gomez, and tonight I do have a very special guest, and she is a very lovely guest. And we got to thank Katrina for Kick Up Your Heels, but I want to introduce today Carrie Campbell. Carrie, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. I feel like I am in Phoenix right now because of the heat wave in New Jersey we're having.
I
Uh,
heard about that. I actually saw someone commenting about running in New York City, and I'm going to be in New York City next weekend. So I hope that it gets a little bit less hot.
um, Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You're talking about the melting pot of the area of the United States between New York and New Jersey, the
Yeah,
tri-state area.
yeah,
It is a
yeah.
boiler here. It is a boiler, but there is a difference between your heat and my heat. Yours is
Very true, because we don't have humidity.
exactly we do. So as I see your lovely hairstyle, be prepared. It might curl up on you if you come to New York. So be careful with that.
It's okay. It's actually really straight. So it's going to fall on me if I get. I grew up in Montreal, so I'm not unused to humidity. I grew up in Montreal and I lived in Miami for 3 years.
Okay.
So humidity is not remiss to me.
I totally get it. I totally get it. Well, I do want to welcome you to the show. Big ups again to Rachel and Katrina for Kick Up Your Heels for introducing me. But we're actually here to talk about your like almost like a program that you're doing, her Dentity. Like I
Yeah.
really want to get into this because it's more like for me, this is like a raising awareness almost for the ladies out there. And as a male, I 100% back this.
Mm.
Doesn't matter. Like you said, in one of your quotes here, to excel in various roles such as daughter, girlfriend, wife, mother, and other things. And it's true. I mean, I look at my wife, she's dead exhausted upstairs with my two kids. And and it's long days and things like that. But I gotta ask, how did you come up with the name? Let's start off with how did you come up with the name?
Yeah. Okay, so that's a great question. I mean, let me just give a little backdrop on me for one
Sure.
second for your listeners so
Oh,
they don't
sure.
think that I'm just this random person just deciding to do this random thing, which, hey, I'm all for random, so that's cool. But just a little bit of background on me so that you people don't think I'm like talking out of my elbow when I'm talking. I'm a clinical counselor. I've been practicing for 25 years. And I currently practice as a human performance coach. So I work all in the area of elite human performance, mindset, unconscious reprogramming, understanding the neurology of our minds, and all of that jazz. And I've been doing that for the last 15 to 18 years. So this is not like I just woke up one day and decided to do this. This is backed by years and years and years of practice as a counselor and as a coach.
Mm.
So just to give you a little inside scoop before I dive into the concept of identity, so yeah, I mean, let me backtrack it. I'll try to not be too long-winded because Lord knows I can talk. Feel free to cut me off, especially when I'm talking about what I'm passionate about.
But that's what I
So,
love.
I
That's something I do love. That's what I don't mean to cut you off, but that's what I love. You're passionate, and that's something I want the people to hear it.
yeah, you can't. I don't know if you can hear it. Like it's gonna come out. It's good. That's why I'm telling you. Just cut me off. Like just tell me to stop talking. So so I think that the backdrop of it's important. 5 years ago, I founded a program called the Unstoppable Woman Project.
Mhm.
And the Unstoppable Woman Project is really, it's this annual program that women get to come in and be a part of a community. And there's coaching and there's online retreats. It's like a whole, like the whole soup and nuts of like how do you become the best version of yourself if I were
Mhm.
to use like the quotables, right? So that's been going strong for 5 years. And I had to sort of table the growth of that company as I was navigating several things in my business, in my personal life. But at the beginning of this year, I was like, this is the year and we're going big. We are going big. I want to impact as many people women as I possibly can. And so this year is the year that I'm kicking it off. So at the beginning of this year, I strategized the plan of what that was going to look like. And, it had live events and all that stuff. And, we were chipping away at
Mhm.
like the plan and the strategy. Now, to know me, you need to know that I am not a business, like I own businesses, but I am not a businesswoman. I am all about impact, right? So my
Right.
CEO, I'm surprised half the time he doesn't want to like jump through the computer screen and strangle me with some of my ideas because I'll get to this point as well, but her Dentity is a free event. It is
Right.
a free 2 day immersive experience. So I knew that we were doing this. And then back in April, I had launched out my first live tour, my first live date.
Mhm.
and it was going to be in Montreal at the end of May. I'm from Montreal originally, end of May. But there was something that just wasn't jiving with me. There was something about it, about the way that I had formatted, that wasn't hitting me. And I hosted a retreat in April for a bunch of women that I work with. And at the beginning of all my retreats, I ask women, I say, you know, what are you here for? What are your expectations? And there was this theme that kind of ran through the group, that they didn't know themselves. They've lost themselves. They don't remember who they were. You know, they're a wife, they're a mom, they're, you know, a friend, they're a sister, but they've lost that sense of self that they once had, if they even had it. And that wasn't what the retreat was supposed to be about. The
Right.
retreat was supposed to be something completely different, but I pivoted the retreat on a dime. And I decided to go all into identity. So identity is a huge thing for me in my world. I reinvent myself multiple times a year, probably. I think it's essential to reinvent ourselves in order to become what we want to be.
Mhm.
And so that weekend, as I was driving, we were in the mountains in North Carolina, and as I was driving from North Carolina, like from the mountains into the city, I was reflecting on this experience that I was having with these women, and it dawned on me, I'm like, this is what the tour needs to be about.
Right.
This tour needs to be about women finding themselves and releasing from their past and creating their future, and so on and so forth. And so I started playing with names in my head and the identity code. And I was like, no, that's boring. And the next thing I know, I was just like, her identity. So I'm going to make up a word. I'm going to make up something. So her identity is essentially, well, it's the journey to a woman's self-identity is really what it is. It's the combination of the word her and identity. We drop the I
Mhm.
so that you really get to come into this experience. And so her identity was born in the mountains in North Carolina, driving by sheep and cows as I was going to the gym. That's where her identity was born. That's the story behind her identity.
And I actually do like the name because it stands out.
Thank you.
You know what
Kind
I
of
mean?
catchy, right?
It does. It's like me with Sleevey G.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
went through the same thing with my show when I was trying to find what's my identity. I wrote Gomez files, the G files, you know, fun something, and then I wrote. And someone said it on my old the podcast I used to be on for music and stuff. Someone goes the sleeveless one, so I wrote sleeveless G, and someone goes,
I
"Why
love it.
not Sleevey?"
I love it.
I said Sleevey G. You know what? That's catchy. So I put
I
it
love
up
it.
and I put it up on AK Twitter, what now it's X. It blew up. I had 98% approval on that name. Within
Amazing.
7 hours, I think I got 98% people loving it.
Wow. You want to know something so funny? I did
Yeah.
not know Twitter has been renamed to X.
Yes. It has
I
been
live in a
renamed.
different world. Holy
It,
moly.
you don't live in a different world because I still call it Twitter. I don't call it X because
Okay. I had
it's
no idea.
eh, Elon Musk changed it for some strange reason. I don't know why, but I don't like him, so it don't matter. I just use his program to get my words out.
Hey, why not? Why not, right?
Exactly. Now, you said you were from Montreal. So
Yes.
you lived in Montreal for quite some time and you made the big move to
Yeah.
from Montreal to Florida, I think you said, right?
Miami
Miami.
first. We actually made the move from I was born and raised in a small town called Morin Heights
Okay.
in the Laurentian Mountains. I moved to Montreal for 10 years. We moved back to Mont Tremblant and we lived in the mountains in Mont Tremblant. We moved from a mountaintop home in Mont Tremblant to A1A Beachfront Avenue in Miami, into a condo. Like it was total stretch,
Yes.
total like different stretch.
You go from the extreme cold to nice summer all year round.
Exactly. Exactly. I was done with winter.
I can understand that. Well, being Cuban and Peruvian, but mostly Cuban. For me, Miami is always a special place for me, especially Little Havana, because
Yeah.
I can go for my Cuban sandwiches and all my good empanadas, the old school Cuban way. So for me,
Yeah.
that's always never lived there, but every time I've been to visit, that's a spot that I always loved.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and in Miami is also a happening spot when you look at it.
It is.
You know
It
what I mean?
is.
So you've grown in Miami for 3 years. You lived in not grown, sorry, lived in Miami for 3 years, and then you
Yeah.
moved to Phoenix after that, correct? Or was it somewhere
Well,
else?
so we actually went from Miami, which interesting story. I moved to Miami for Pitbull, the musician. So if you ever want to hear that story, we can get into that. We could go into that in 1 second.
Yeah, we
But
can
that's
because
what,
I
because
would.
you said Cuban.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you that story. So we moved to Miami for Pitbull, and then we moved from Miami up to a small town near Orlando, and then we moved to Phoenix.
Okay.
And so we're currently in Phoenix, yes. But I just move when I get bored. But we did move to Miami to be closer to Pitbull. That's what we moved to Miami for.
Okay. So I got to ask the question, why close to Pitbull? Because first of all, great musician, Mr. Worldwide. I love all his music.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a guy I would love to get in contact because he's so amazing.
Yeah,
Because
well, so here's a crazy story. So interestingly enough,
Mhm.
Pitbull has a huge part in the creation of everything I'm doing right now.
Okay.
When and I'll give you the backdrop on it. So
Yeah,
because this is a
please.
story that I guess now needs to be told, right?
Oh,
So in 2017, we attended I took my daughter to a Pitbull concert for her birthday.
nice.
And one of my clients at the time said to me, I'm friends with Armando. I can probably get you backstage passes. And I was like, oh my gosh, my daughter would love that. Let's
So would
do
I.
it 100%. So we did that. So we get these backstage passes and we get to meet and greet with Pitbull, right? Which was a really cool moment, a really amazing moment. But for me, what was really impactful about that concert, and if you've never been to a Pitbull concert, I'll be honest, even if you don't like his music, you got to go. Like he puts on a performance, like it is world class,
Mhm.
right? So I was so blown away by his message. He speaks my language.
Mhm.
He inspired me. And I've been in the personal development industry for 25 years. Not many people inspire me. So I was unbelievably inspired by his message. And after this particular concert, I messaged my friend. I'm like, can you please just pass the message on to him that, like, wow, forget about the music for a second. Like him, the man, the message.
You're right.
And he basically messaged her back and he was like, why don't you give her my number
It's
and
awesome.
let me connect with her? So in 2017, I began, I guess you could call it a friendship with
Mhm.
Armando. And we started communicating back and forth. And in 2017, was it 2017? Okay, yeah, 2017, in December, he flew me down to Miami so that we could sit down and we could meet and we could talk about some of the projects we were working on. So picture little old me, small town girl, walking in to meet Mr. 305.
Mr.
We sat
Worldwide
down
too.
for a 90-minute business meeting, a business lunch. We talked about what I do, what he does, what we want to do together, how we want to impact the world. And then we started the plans of movement in towards creation of some of the stuff we were working on. So one of the things that we were building was if you don't know anything know this about him, he actually has charter schools across the country,
Yes, that I do know.
slam schools. So my husband and I, we moved to Miami to be closer to him and his schools because we were kicking off and piloting a program inside of slam schools. And
Nice.
so it was an amazing, we had a radio show on Slam Radio. And then we met, our last meeting was on February 8th, 2020. And we had locked in our plans to launch out the self-aware leadership program, fundraising, self-awareness, etc. And then the world shut down.
Yeah.
And then the world shut down. And so we had to pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot. He is still part of my world. He doesn't know this, but if he happens to be listening to this, I'm circling back with a message to him in a couple of weeks because he's really inspired. The whole unstoppable movement came 2 months after I flew to Miami to meet him.
Mhm.
And it's not because I met Pitbull.
Right.
It's because I recognized that the woman I had become in order to get to the place that I could confidently walk into that restaurant and own that space and that conversation with power and assertiveness.
Mhm.
That was the whole reason that I created the Unstoppable Woman Project. So he doesn't even know that yet, but every single event that I will kick off, the first Dentity was kicked off with Feel This Moment. Every single one of them for the rest of my life will be kicked off with that song
And
because
that's a
of the
great song.
impact he's had on my world. So that's why we moved to Miami.
And that's actually pretty cool. That's actually a really cool story because I've watched his music, listened to his words. I've seen his interviews. He is such a man of honor, especially being Cuban too. He remembers his roots. He remembers his people, and
And
that's
he really is. He really, like, he behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
Like he does walk the walk in all aspects of life.
And that's one thing I look up to him because he's Mr. 305. I said I want to be Mr. 201. So that's Bergen County in New Jersey. I'm from Bergen County.
Love it.
So I mean that's why I look up to him too, because he's like a true icon. And to
Yeah.
have him as a friend but also a partner in what you're doing is an amazing thing. And that's something people don't realize. Everybody knows him for his music, but no one realizes about the schools he's put out, the charities he does, the background stuff.
Amazing.
He
Yeah.
actually works from sun up to sundown. And being in the, I want to say like almost hip hop, pop, Hispanic music era. He's the true quintessential mogul. He is.
Yeah.
He has his hands a little thing. Like that's a man. If I ever met him, I wouldn't even know what to say because I would be stunned seeing him face to face. Like even if he came on this computer, if you told me he was right there next to you and he came on here, I'll just be like,
Blah 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 blah.
yes,
that was what I was hoping I wasn't going to do when I walked into that restaurant.
That
You
I
have no
probably,
idea.
it's funny. I remember my very first. I'll never forget this. My first celebrity interview was the bassist from guitarist from Bowling for Soup, Rob Felicetti. Now I could say his name right. Starstruck because I couldn't pronounce his name right, like because I was so nervous. That was my very first true celebrity interview.
I love it. I got to tell you what I've learned about celebrities, right? Because I've had the blessing of being around quite a few celebrities that, we're good acquaintances with Alice Cooper. I've had the honor of meeting Johnny Depp. There's a lot of people, like I know a lot of people, right? And I work with NBA players, like, celebrity statuses, right? And, the best thing I can tell anybody about them is just like, they're just people. They are, like, and when you treat them like people, like I sat in a room eating Chinese food with Alice Cooper and he commented on how salty it was. Like, I'm like, what is this moment that's happening right now? Like people like think I'm crazy when I tell them that story, but it really is. It's just, it's a blessing. I consider myself blessed.
I mean, I just had the honor. I mean, I've had local New Jersey celebrities come on, like Christina Bear, Cara DeFalco, who were always for New Jersey 12 at the time, and Marissa Brainy, Don Smith. But I was blessed to have, besides Katrina and Rachel, Kenny, Law's going to be on the show soon. Dennis and Tess Marie, they're going to be on the show. They've been on the show already. So I've had actually, matter of fact, this month of June is Kick Up Your Heels month because I had SJ, Katrina. I'm going to have you. I have Law coming up. So it's an amazing thing to have that. I actually had two-time Super Bowl champion Leonard Marshall from the New York Giants come on the show.
Amazing. How amazing.
So for me, being a small guy, a small podcaster with a big mouth, but the recognition finally, people are noticing. Like if someone goes, hey, someone could say, Alex, listen, you could say, hey, Alex, I got a connection here. I'm going to introduce you to somebody. I'm going to let them email you and check it out. I'll be like stoked. You know what I mean? Like for me, I love it. That's for me, like saying thank you. And that's showing the appreciation. But
absolutely.
Like I tell Katrina and Rachel, I go, I can't thank them enough for introducing me clients like you. Or not even call clients. I call friends now because
clients, schmients.
I don't like the word clients for me because I prefer friends because
I don't like the word clients for my clients and I have clients and I still don't like the word clients. So trust me, I get it. I feel like it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's degrading to the human experience when we say that.
And, being at my age and I came from a strict household, like being polite, being Miss or Mr. or may I have and stuff like that. It's rare. Like something I try and install into my kids now. And like my daughter's getting there, my daughter's 7, she's turning 8, my son's 3, he's turning 4 this year. They're learning. And that's something I want them to know how much I appreciate. My daughter's a dancer. I saw her go doing a move she couldn't do in September this past year.
Amazing.
She makes the competition team this year. She's dancing, she's making moves. And I'm just like, matter of fact, the one song that blew me away was she was doing one of the J-Lo songs. I'm like, huh? Get on the floor. There we go. That's the one. J-Lo, get on the.
I love it.
I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know my daughter could dance like that. But
Just wait.
oh, I know. She retried out for the competition team again. So I can't wait to see what bigger and better things she's doing. You know what I mean? But to
Yeah,
see, like you
yeah,
said, for your daughter meeting Pitbull and having that connection, that's an amazing. I will be tagging him for the show. I am gonna tag him.
I
I,
love it. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
hashtag him, so hopefully he gets the
I
chance to
love it.
see this. You know what I mean? The amazing thing is what you're doing for the women, all the women around the world.
Yeah,
I've been blessed to raise. I love raising awareness. That's one thing I love to do. And when Katrina offered this opportunity, I said I would love to help her. You know what I mean? As a
right.
man, I understand now, as a married man, I should say, seeing the different things that women do. Like my wife does a lot, and I appreciate her every day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This was her idea to me proceed my podcasting career, but on top of it, I got to make sure I'm there when she needs me to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And her identity it's funny. She used to be very strict, but I'm the funny guy. Like, hey, let loose a little bit, relax, and she became a different person a little bit, but she's still herself. Where I appreciate that she's strict, but she's fun. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I'm noticing the work that you're doing. It's making sure the women know who they are. And that's something I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And, finding, I guess there's a good way of saying finding your way
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. And I think that, I've been in the industry for a really long time, a
Mhm.
really, really long time, like 25 years, right? I've been in the
Yeah.
industry. And I think that what we're seeing right now in the industry, when I say industry, I'm speaking of the personal development industry,
Hmm.
is we're seeing this like oversaturation of everybody thinking they're a guru, right? Everybody's a mindset coach, everybody's a guru, everybody's like a voice.
Hmm.
And I applaud everybody who really wants to create change. But in my observation of it over the past probably 8 to 10 years, what we're seeing a great deal of is people who are actually wanting to become coaches because
Hmm.
they want to build 7-figure businesses. And I speak out about that. Like it's one of my soapboxes. I always joke about
Right.
taking my soapbox out. It's one of my soapboxes because you don't become a coach to make money. You make money from being a coach, and if you come into it for the wrong reasons, you end up going astray. And with this oversaturation in the industry, what we're
Hmm.
seeing is we're seeing a lot of people who really don't understand what it is to work with human beings. Everything that I do is predicated on neuroscience, psychology, and spirituality. It is like Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who's a good friend of mine, he wrote the book Willpower Doesn't Work. He touted our mindset system because my husband and I created it together.
Right.
He touted it as the most neuroscientifically and psychologically sound mindset system he's ever seen
Hmm.
ever seen. And, this coming from a PhD in psychology. And I really pride myself on understanding the intricacies of human nature. And so the reason I say that is because, I think we're faced with a world right now where we've got these bite-sized morsels of like, you need to know yourself, you need to let it go, you need to find yourself. And what people really don't understand is that that's not a quick hit answer. Right? Knowing yourself
Yes.
is a lifelong journey. Knowing yourself should not stop until the day you die. We should have, like I always say, like one of the things I say ever since I released her Dentity is like iPhone has what, like 17 versions now of iOS? Why? And you have one?
Right.
You have one version of yourself? Like how many women, and like this is a pain point for a lot of women. How many women out there feel like they're still living the life that they were living when they were 20, 21, 22, 23, and like they haven't evolved. And, there's that whole thing like change is good, but then change is resistance. And one of the things that I really do pride myself on is understanding all the intricacies of that.
Right.
So it's not enough. Like I sit in some of these like amazing rooms of these amazing business owners and entrepreneurs who like, I'm talking like billion-dollar companies. I've been
Mm.
in rooms with people who own billion-dollar companies, and they all talk about this whole like, well, you need to know yourself. And then like, and I won't swear because I was about to swear on your
It's
podcast.
okay. Don't worry
And
about it. It
like,
happens.
I mean, like you're from Jersey, right? Like, so like I've been up on like stages and I've been talking and they're all like, we need to know ourselves. And I'm like, you're all full of shit.
Yes,
You're all full of
I
shit. You're
agree.
scratching the surface. You are scratching the surface on what knowing yourself is not a 5-minute journal a day. No, no, I'm not trying to knock the 5-minute journal, but like you do not get to know yourself through
Mhm.
5 minutes a day. Knowing yourself is not a weekend event. Like, and I say it at my event. Like,
Right.
this is not the end. This is your beginning.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that this beginning goes on and on and on and on until my heart stops beating and blood stops pumping through my veins. I will forever be seeking better levels for myself. Always.
I agree.
And I think people are afraid of that because they don't know how. And that's what I like to bring to the table. I like to teach women how.
Mhm.
How do we know ourselves? Because knowing yourself is a great concept.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I
No, it
do
is.
that?
I mean, like for me, even as a male point of view, you know what I mean? It's hard. You know what I mean? For me, finding myself, actually finding my voice and doing podcasting, I was nervous at first. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared, excuse my language, shitless.
Right.
My first time ever. Here with me, I'm finding myself more as I have repeat people coming back on the show. I have
Yeah.
kick up your heels, thanking them every time because they're sending me people to interview. And I jump on opportunities because I'm not going to say no, because
Yeah.
I want to hear the story. Hearing your story tonight too is an amazing thing, because I think for women, but also some males might actually take advantage and say, wow,
Yeah.
maybe
It was the hardest thing for me to do to actually make the conscious decision.
no. And
I made the conscious decision to go just to men, women. Go ahead.
women, no, but I respect that truly because you're, as a woman, you've transformed yourself. You made yourself who you are. Look at the steps you went. You went from Montreal to Miami to work with Pitbull, which still shockingly amazing. Okay. Now you're in Phoenix on your own, but people who you've met along the way are still there supporting you. Even myself tonight, meeting you for the first time, talking to you tonight, I'm gonna even support because people need the help. You know, I'll say this live on the air. I seek help.
Mhm.
I need to talk to somebody. This is a
Right.
way out for me, but other things that I can't talk about on a show, I have to talk to somebody else. And my wife understands that,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, we all, I always say this, that the school system doesn't teach us how to human.
No,
We learn math, we learn science, we learn English. We do not learn human. There is
no.
no human in the school. And so it's one of the things I always tell people is like, give yourself some grace
Mhm.
because and I approach mindset as skill development, not like this magical thing,
Yeah,
right? I approach it as a skill that you need to develop. And if
right.
you can learn how to do one thing, you can learn how to do anything. And so I think that we need to give ourselves grace and understanding that we were never taught how to process emotions. We were never taught how to process healing. We were never
Mhm.
taught how to work through trauma or insert whatever, communicate. We're not taught communication in school, right? So we are these human beings that thrive on or that are primarily unconscious emotional beings who don't
Right.
know what to do with it. It's so tragic.
It is very tragic, and that's what here. The funny thing is, like, I'm hearing you, and I'm actually getting like, wow, like as a male sitting, go, why can't that be? And for us too. But I respect the decision you made, and I understand totally. But it's funny, like I would think some males might even get a kick out of it, not a kick out of it, but like actually thrive what you're saying, like your message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do have a lot of male followers, actually. Like I have a lot of male followers who follow me. They ask if they can come. I'm like, no, you can't come, but you can
And
keep watching.
exactly, but I mean but see, that's still good because that means there's people who are trying to reach out to you, not male, female, it doesn't matter, but you're knowing you're making a difference in the world and you're helping that.
Yeah.
I was a high school coach. I graduated high school and then I hurt my knee. I decided to go to community college and I was looking for things to do. I was working part-time and they needed help. I said, "Hey, I'll help you. Set up the field. If you let me help out with some of the freshmen, maybe show them some techniques, like we love you." I ended up becoming a coach and, high school football coach, and I
Mm.
loved it. For
Yeah.
me, it was helping the kids. I went through a Catholic school. So, one thing I said, religion, learning the religion is important here at our high school.
Yeah.
Family is very important second.
Mm.
Yourself, knowing who you are and who you're going to try to be. Friends, actually schoolwork, friends. 6 was football. I go,
Yeah,
football is a thing that's given to you to enjoy life.
absolutely.
And I said, guys, I'm going to teach you through my mistakes and you're not going to make them
I love that. Love that.
because it's not easy, Carrie, to be a mentor or a coach. It takes years. And my first year, I was scared, but I headed on first. My second year, learned more. Third year, did more. Fourth, five, six, I became a respectable coach.
Yeah.
Parents love the fact, parents love me. Matter of fact, I was talking to an old player of mine today, and something happened. I can't, we can't get into it, but the thing is, I was there, and he goes, "Coach, thank you." I'm like, "You don't have to call me coach anymore. I'm not your coach." He goes, "I always think he was the coach." I go, "Yeah." When I see my coach, I still call him coach. You know what I mean? Even though he told me
Mm.
several times to call him Mike, I'm like, I just can't. You know what I mean? It's in the DNA, and
Yeah.
it's the respect. And that's one thing I always said to my coaches. I respect you guys so much because you put me on a path of where I should be. You know,
Right.
I had people who doubted me for a long time, and when I do stuff like this, I prove people wrong.
I love it. I
And
absolutely love it.
and this is
So
what
powerful.
it is, and this is what I do. Hey,
Love it.
do I have funny shows on my podcast? Yes.
Yeah.
But also I've raised awareness for autism,
I'm beautiful.
type 1 diabetes, cerebral palsy. I actually had a I had a gentleman who had a really bad drug habit. And
Mm.
the day we recorded the show, it was his 1 year anniversary of
Beautiful.
sobriety. So things like this and hearing your message too for the ladies is important because I want to support that. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, because people don't realize it. Like, listen, I'm all about fun. Hey, I would love to meet all types of celebrities too, but I'm not there yet.
Right.
One day I'll
Right.
be
Right.
there.
Right. Yeah. I love it.
You know, you could say after this, like, wow, I really enjoyed him. Maybe I should, again, I'm just shooting the hip. I'm not saying you're going to, but you can say, wow, I should connect him with somebody like this. He could really thrive on the show. I would take it in a heartbeat. I will never say no, except when I'm on vacation, I
Right.
will. But but things like that happens. You know what I mean? And my dream of being bigger. Oh, I shot and I said I want to be bigger than Howard Stern. I doubt I'll ever be that big, but when people see me, I want people to recognize who I am.
Absolutely. Shoot
And
for the moon, you land amongst the stars, right?
yes, and that's what I'm doing. That's why I keep working
Amazing.
as that's why I keep working as hard as I do. You know what I mean? When Katrina again brought this up to me, I'm like, whoa, she's got a well, we're gonna be talking about that too actually this weekend. You have a show. I'm like, well, if you want to get her in, how about tomorrow night? You know what I mean? Like, so I can release it the next day.
I moved my eyelash appointment for this.
So thank you for moving your eyelash appointment because I want to make sure we get you. I want people to hear the message. I want people to realize.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
and straight up, Carrie, you're really straight up, straight shooter, charming, wonderful, but you don't sugarcoat it. You say it how it is. And I have ultimate respect for you just meeting you just now. You
Thank
know what I
you.
mean?
Thank
The,
you.
you
Thank
know,
you.
you don't see, I don't say that a lot because some people are like, I'm on the show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I've had one or two people like that. that just came on.
Right.
I ended it early because it's not fun.
Yeah, I hate that when that happens. Gosh.
I just had the legendary Coffee Brown on the show. They
Mm.
were so much fun, but also we were all, it's late at night too, and I respect the fact that they came on. Hey, listen, it doesn't have to be an hour and a half. It could be 40 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right, 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 right.
But at the end of the day, the fact that they came on and showed the love, the
Totally.
respect, and that's something, I'm doing for you and everybody and all the ladies. Because in
Right.
reality, everyone needs help, but what you're doing for them is an amazing thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And,
Yeah.
your husband and your kids, I hope they are as proud as I know I am, and I know Katrina and Rachel are, and
Love those
everybody.
girls.
I have not met them face to face yet. I've talked to
Oh
them
my gosh, they're so
online.
good.
Katrina has been very good to me, and so is Rachel. I just released their episode this week. So
I love it.
so if you get a chance, check them out because they were on the show.
Absolutely.
That was I think their first podcast going as not as the interviewers, they're the interviewees. So it's kind of fun.
Amazing. How
Um,
fun.
it was fun because seeing them in also a man's world in the
Yeah.
entertainment business,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
you don't see two ladies like them.
Right.
And
Right.
I gave them so much, uh, not even saying slack, but like so much honor and respect for that. Because when you're in the
Mm.
entertainment business, everybody knows it's the women, the men. You know, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
one of those shows that I always loved watching was Entourage.
Mm.
I like Ari Gold was like true, but it was funny seeing Beverly D'Angelo as his counterpart with her big mouth cursing at him too. She's like,
Right.
I could do this. And that's where I think they are at already. They're,
Right. 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 Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually can't wait to go meet them one day. I'm trying to maybe go up there one day and really sit down and just meet them and just thank them so much because
Love it. I love that.
it just means a lot when I support them, but they really are supporting me a lot.
Right.
And,
Right.
and that's why I mentioned them so much.
Yeah.
These last couple of days with I released with SJ, I mean they actually invited me to the party down in Kansas City that one the Memorial Day week. I couldn't make it. I had plans with the family, you know what I mean? I said
So fun.
if I knew 2 weeks earlier, the kids would have been in the in-laws and me and my wife would have taken the trip. You know what I mean? So everyone meets everybody.
Right. Right. Right.
But to be thought of like that already was amazing.
Yeah.
And
It's beautiful.
it is. And the message that you're giving the ladies is unbelievable.
Mm,
Um,
thank you.
you do have a show coming up this weekend in Phoenix.
I do.
So
Yes.
let's talk about that.
Okay.
So let's talk. When is it? Where is it? How long is it?
Yeah,
All that stuff.
absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you all about it. So it's a 2-day experience. Saturday and Sunday, so June 22nd and 23rd here in Phoenix. I'm hosting it at the Canby Hotel, which is a beautiful hotel in the Biltmore district in Phoenix. If you're familiar with Phoenix,
Mhm.
that's where you know it is. Saturday from 10 to 4, Sunday from 10 to 1, so that everybody has time to do whatever they need to do on Sunday afternoon to prep. I think one of the biggest things to share about this weekend is it's 100% free. There's no fee to enter into it. I purposely made it free because, I wanted to invest in women so they didn't have to invest in themselves.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to be able to give, because I came up against a lot of women having like, well, I have to buy my kid hockey equipment, or I have to do
Right.
this, or I have to do that, or, and it's really hard for women to invest in themselves. I
Mhm.
mean, the statistic is 73% of women list themselves as their last priority. So, it's a big step for a woman to invest $500. I was going to charge for it
Right.
$500. And I just kept getting this resistance. And I looked at my CEO and I said, you know what? I want to do it anyways. I'm doing it for free. And, obviously it's a part of a bigger picture, and it's a part
Mhm.
of a bigger growth and reaching. I just want to be able to reach as many women as I possibly can. The more women I can reach, the more lives I can change, the more lives I can save, the more lives I can create, whatever the case may be. And so it kicks off on Saturday. It's a 2-day immersive experience. It is very hands-on. I talk, I speak, but we have workbooks. We go through activities together. We go through tools. By the
Nice.
time the weekend is over, you have an entire program to set you up to go home and execute and kind of like get off to the races. It's your beginning of like the rest of your life, so to speak,
Hmm.
right? I'm really big on giving action items and giving tools and giving strategies to people.
Cool.
I don't love just pumping people up and then leaving them there, right? I don't want to do that. I can't do it as a business, as a coach. Like I just
And
can't.
that's a good thing because I worked for a company a long time ago. We were down in a an undisclosed area of the South, we'll just say that.
Mhm.
And we were at a hockey stadium and it was all pump up. Yeah, like I can't wait, but then where's the guidance?
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
can't do it. I
No,
can't do it. It's
and I
just not
respect
me.
that. And I respect that a lot
Yeah,
because I was all pumped to do things, but then where's the
yeah.
guidance?
Then you go home and it's Monday and you're sad.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Fly for a couple hours, come back Sunday night,
yeah.
and then realizing like, what I get out of it?
Yeah, yeah.
But it seems
That I
like,
mean, it's the biggest. It's actually the reason that my husband and I created the process we created because what we observed in the industry was that like when people like read the books, go to the events, they watch the
mhm,
videos, and they have a breakthrough,
right.
right? But we need to go beyond the breakthrough. We need to go on the breakthrough to sustainable change,
Mhm,
right? So what we created inside of our program, which is called Eliminate Your Limits, is essentially the bridge between the breakthrough moment and the change and really, I mean, I've spent 15 years teaching it. I know it inside out, upside down, on my head, drinking a glass of water upside down. Like I literally know this process.
right.
And I always say what I say about my process is it's not a roadmap. No, it's not a blueprint, it's a roadmap. And if you open up a roadmap to get to Starbucks, there's 25 different ways to get there,
Yeah.
right? So our process is designed that although there's parts and components of it, there's 25 ways to get there. Like I use the exact same program on my NBA player as
Mhm,
I do on the single woman at home who doesn't go take a shower. It's the exact same system. The system is the same, the foundation's the same. I just tweak it depending on who it is that I'm working
right. And again, amazing thing to do because when you get a bunch of ladies, even NBA player, you have to figure out what will make them tick, and that's something that doesn't happen overnight. Like you said, 15
with.
years of correcting
Yeah.
it, perfecting it,
A
and
100%. And
and
there has to be passion involved,
yes,
right? Like,
yes,
like I have a passion, like I have a passion for human behavior. I love observing humans. I have since I was young. Like I was watching the TV show Blacklist. I don't know if you're familiar with
oh yeah,
it.
I'm very
And
familiar with the show.
there's an episode where somebody, I think it was Elizabeth asks Reddington, tell me what your mother was like. And Reddington says something to the effect of, my mother understood the human condition. And I swear that was the best and the closest anybody's ever described me. And I say this in the most humble way I could possibly say it.
Mhm,
I don't know what I was born with that gave me a deeper understanding of human beings. I don't believe it's only learned. I believe that there's something that I was gifted,
mhm,
and not to get all ethereal, but I believe that there is something gifted, and I have an ability to see human beings. I always have. So for me, it's not just that it's 15 years of practicing it. You give me a human being. Like I have this one client I just started with, and he's never done anything self-development. He's like, he goes, here, I'm a lump of clay, mold me. And
right,
I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Like I'm like, let's go, right?
right,
Because for me, the intricacies of humans is so fascinating. And I love understanding it and I love breaking it down. And I'll wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and try to figure out, okay, if this person's not getting her this way, what route do I need to take to get them there?
right,
It
right.
is a huge passion for me, which is the reason I'm still in it 25 years late and I haven't burnt out.
And that's an amazing thing. Like for me, um, I have the gift of gab, but also I love doing research and getting to know somebody because for me being improv, it works. As you could see, it wasn't like a true legit interview. It was fun talking, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's what it's about. It's about you
Yeah.
and and letting but also helping the women on their journey. And that's
100%.
and that's 100% true. And like you said, it's free. Now, I've never heard anybody say that. When I hear free, it's like, yes, please. But as if I was a female, I would say, yes, please. I'm there. Let's go.
Yeah.
But we're definitely gonna, we're definitely make sure the ladies of Phoenix get out there, meet you. But we might have two other possibles
Yeah.
coming up. We don't know when. Dates have not been set
Yeah.
yet. One of them
Yeah.
being possibly Chicago,
Yeah. And New York.
and New
It'll be
York.
definitely New York or Jersey, one of the two. So like y'all can fight over it. Right. So yeah, so where we're at right now with this is we actually had three other events scheduled for the rest of the year, but we have a feeling we're gonna do more than three. We're probably gonna go on a full tour.
Okay,
So we might actually hit two cities a month.
nice.
So by the end of the year, I'm gonna be tired.
Yes.
But that's okay. But so I am definitely hitting the New York, New Jersey area, probably sometime in August.
Okay.
That's probably what I'm going to be in out in Jersey. I want to do Chicago, Toronto for sure, probably Florida, and then I'll hit somewhere else for sure on the West Coast. And I'm planning on Europe in the fall as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're talking full blown tour. Well, definitely
yeah,
if you're in New Jersey, New York, I'd love to come out and meet you and support you,
absolutely.
and I'll definitely let the listeners, the ladies know when you're here, because we'll definitely promote you huge. We are going to promote you huge tonight.
Awesome.
Well, actually not tonight, it'll be morning when we do let this go. Um, Carrie, I really got to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank
it,
you so much.
it's an amazing thing what you're doing. Full respect. Love the stories tonight. I didn't know I was getting a pit bull story tonight, but let me tell you, it's great stuff that what you have accomplished and what have you done and who you've worked
Thank you.
with.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
so happy to met you tonight. And if there's anything the show can do to help you too, let me know. Um, you know,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm pretty easy to reach, and um, like I said, it's an amazing thing, Carrie, what you're doing, and much respect. And I know your husband and your kids are proud of you too. And that's the key thing, I mean, having the family there and your husband supporting you is always the best thing too, because that makes
Absolutely.
it makes everything worthwhile at the end of the day. It makes it worth it. Trust me, I know that for a fact. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
my
Thank you
kid,
so much. I appreciate it.
no problem. Before we take off for the night, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, best place would be social media. I am not super social media savvy, so I am still old school with Instagram and Facebook. So if you pop onto Instagram, it's Carrie_Campbell_UWP, and that's spelled CARRIE_CAMPBELL_UWP on Instagram. And on Facebook, it's just my name. You can find me on my profile. I personally manage. I actually lost all my social media. I got canceled 2 years ago and lost everything and had to start all over again. So yeah, that was a very stressful day. But so I'm regrowing all of that stuff. But I respond to everything personally. There you will never get a response from an automated message or any of that stuff. It's all personalized. So feel free to follow me, reach out to me, connect with me, ask me questions. That's what I'm all about.
Thank you, Carrie, again. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta thank her. I gotta thank everybody who's been on this show. But hearing the message that you're giving out, Carrie, it means a lot. And for the ladies, please, please reach out to her. She's an infectious woman. I would love to go to the shows, but it's only for ladies. That just shows what she's doing can hit everybody. Um, Carrie, thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Check her out in Phoenix this weekend, everybody. Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4 Saturday, 10 to 1 on Sunday. So check her out Saturday, and be aware dates will be coming out soon for Chicago, New Jersey/New York. I'll go first because I'm Jersey. Wherever she is, we'll support her. Even I might come out just support her, take a picture, say I'm here. I want to be a
Love
supportive
it.
as well. You know what I mean? So I'll
Thank
definitely
you.
love to meet you right off face to face if you're in this area. Um,
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming out. Guys, as you can see, inspirations, coaches don't happen overnight. It's the success that she has. It's something she's worked on for many years, just like I am doing. I am building my set, and she has done that. And you can see it here. Guys, my message is keep shooting for the stars because it will happen. And thank you to Carrie for coming out tonight. Kick up your heels. Thank you again. And also, as I always end my show, it's nothing but love, peace, and happiness. Good night, everybody.